Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Don't Overthink It podcast. I am your host, Donnie, and today we have a special guest with us. She is a skin therapist, so to speak. We have Amanda in here with us today. Like I said, she's a skin therapist or an esthetician. I can't say that. It's a hard one. But yeah, she's going to be with us today. We're going to have a chit chat with her today, and hopefully we can learn some things about skincare. Welcome in, Amanda.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going. How's your day going?
It's going pretty good. Just it's a beautiful Sunday. There's snow. Snow's glistening. The house is warm. All of the things. So
That's good. A warm house on a snowy day is really comforting.
Exactly.
So give us a little bit of background of what it is that you do. Like what's your title, and stuff like that.
Yeah. So my official title is I'm an esthetician. So I went to school back in 23. I went to the Aveda Institute of Phoenix, and I just really dove into learning about skin health, and the importance of taking care of our skin. It's the largest organ on our body, and unfortunately we take that for granted, right? We tend to forget that skin is an organ and it also needs to get taken care of. So yeah, skincare has always been really important to me. I do have a background in psychological sciences and health and wellness coaching as well with, I wanted to originally go into therapy and become an equine assisted therapist. That didn't work out for me personally, and just kind of dove into the skincare. And thankfully I'm able to use my psych background and the health and wellness background in correlation with skincare. So
That's pretty interesting. So it's kind of like you're a dual threat when it comes to skincare treatment.
Oh yeah. So I'll take a look at, people's skin health. I get a lot of guests that come in, just dealing with dry, flaky, tight skin, or just your skin producing too much oil and how to correct that. Really sensitive skin, people who live with eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, possibly getting acne because of rosacea or just cystic acne in general. There's tons of different things that our skin goes through, and a lot of it can be corrected through lifestyle choices and your diet, your stress management, sleep, all of those things. So yeah, it's a puzzle, right? We're trying to figure out what's going on with the skin and trying to make the pieces fit and how to take care of our skin that works best with our lifestyle.
That sounds like a lot of work. So you went to school for this. So I'm assuming you went through, got a license or a certification. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I went to the Aveda Institute of Phoenix. Every state is different when it comes down to their education. In Arizona specifically, they're about, I want to say 600 hours. Yeah, 600 hours worth of training and education. In places like Georgia, as an example, I want to say that their training is over 1,000 hours. So it's really, really diverse when it comes to training hours per state. Same thing with Idaho, which is where I reside now. So I'm fully licensed in the state of Idaho, not in Arizona anymore, just because I let my licensure run out there. But yeah, and once you have your license, it's kind of crazy to me. There's no required education beyond what you do in school. So if you're ever looking for an esthetician, that would be a really good question to ask them, is if they continue with their education, whether it's listening to podcasts, reading books, going to like a monthly class or just adding new services onto their profile. Education is so important.
I would imagine like anything else, the mechanical field or automotive industry, like medical, mental health, first aids, things like that. Everything changes as every year. There's always something new to learn every year. There's always something new coming out. So you do you specifically stay on top of what's coming out, or is that just kind of like a every 6 months I'll go and read and catch up on things that have come out, or do you try to stay on top of it?
I definitely try to stay on top of it because everything is, like you said, everything is changing. Specifically here in Idaho, there's a lot of different modalities that estheticians can do that aren't actually regulated by the state. So as an example, anybody, like whether you've gone to school or not, fresh out of high school or high school dropout or whatever be the case, you can pick up a tattoo gun and just start tattooing people. You don't need a license. You don't need education or any type of background to just start doing that. And the same thing happens for estheticians with a specific modality called microneedling. So that's something that I am trained in. I did go to a professional esthetician who specifically teaches this, gives out, certificate of education, all of those things. So yeah, it's definitely important if you're going to be looking for any type of skincare services. Make sure that you're going to somebody who's educated, make sure that they're licensed, make sure that they keep up with their education. So it's so important.
Now you mentioned that what did you say, skincare needling?
Microneedling.
Microneedling. Explain that a little bit more. That's interesting.
Yeah, so microneedling, essentially what it is I take a little, I guess you can think of it like a tattoo gun. But essentially what I do is I will numb somebody's facial skin and I make micro tears into the skin to help with collagen and elastin production. As we age, we tend to lose that production every year. I think it drops off 1% to 2% every single year, depending on your lifestyle choices. So you'll start noticing as you get older, you're starting to get like the fine lines, the wrinkles, a little bit more mature skin. And essentially with microneedling, we're helping the body do what it naturally wants to do, which is basically waking up those cells and saying, hey guys, we've been injured. We need to create collagen and elastin to keep the skin healthy and plump and youthful looking. So yeah, it's a beautiful service when it's done correctly.
Sounds painful.
It can be not using numbing cream for sure.
I'm just, me personally, I'm scared of needles. I don't have tattoos because of that reason. I don't like getting shots, and I know there are different needles and stuff. There are different needles, they do different things, but the fact that, this little tiny thing is going to be poking my skin, no thank you. Nope, yeah. Staying away from that.
I mean, I can tell you, I've done it personally, and I really enjoy the service. My husband, I'm low-key going to throw him under the bus here a little bit, but he's kind of a baby when it comes to any type of pain. But he actually really likes the microneedling services, and it's been shown to help reduce signs of aging with fine lines and wrinkles. It helps with acne scars. So if, growing up, if you picked at your face, if you have any like deep, what are they called? Ice pick scars from picking, microneedling can help reduce the look of those.
Okay. Sounds like something I need to look into.
Like I said, it's a beautiful service, and you do see results when it's done correctly.
So what's a typical day for you? Like what's your typical work day? I mean, I'm assuming you start off 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, and then, what's your typical work day?
Yeah, no, that's a great question because honestly, it's every day is different. Every day is so fun. Gosh. So right now I'm still building up my clientele in Idaho. So I do have some days where it's a little bit more relaxed than other days. But my days consist of performing 30 to 60 minute facials and getting people to come in and relax. I do some hydrofacials. We do microneedling, brow waxing, tinting, lash lifts and tints. I'll do skin and scalp analysis with a little machine so I can get up close and personal and see what your skin is doing. I help with laundry. I help with retail, ordering, cleaning. I do a little bit of everything.
Jack of all trades.
Gotta be in this industry, yeah.
Yep. So some of the stuff that you mentioned, take us a little bit into more detail about like the hydrofacialing and stuff like that. What does that all consist of? What is that?
Yeah.
What does that do for your skin?
So hydrofacial, phenomenal. If you're gonna go get any service done, get a hydrofacial. It is the coolest machine that I have ever seen. But essentially, what we're able to do is we're able to really clean the skin, exfoliate the skin. We put down a peel that's going to help nourish the skin and prepare it for extractions. And this machine, it isolates your pores. That way we can actually use vortex technology that consists of these beautiful, healthy serums. And we suck out all of what they call gunk from your pores, your individual pores, and then we're able to push in these beautiful serums and antioxidant ingredients back into the skin to just really give you this beautiful, healthy glow. Hydrofacial, I'm not sure how long they've been around. They've been around for a little bit. And the way that they use their technology, it's one of a kind. You're not going to find anything else on the market that's like it. So there's no cross-contamination when it's pulling things out and putting things back in. We're able to use corrective boosters to help with any number of skin concerns, whether it be signs of aging, acne, dull skin, whatever it be the case, there's a corrective booster out there for it. It's just really cool. At the end of the service, we get to pull out a little jar that shows you everything that we've been able to pull out of the skin.
That's kind of gross.
It is a little gross, but at the same time, it is so satisfying to just be like, oh, that came out of me.
I helped you with that today. You owe me.
Exactly.
So I know you mentioned some of it a little bit earlier, but what's like in your opinion, your personal opinion? Let's say you're new to the field, you don't know what you're not. Your personal opinion, you go in first time getting a facial. What would you recommend to somebody who's their first time going in and getting the facial or the skin treatment done? Is it a jump in and get everything all at once, or is it you got to work your way up to it type of thing?
That's a really good question. Gosh, I would say you would definitely want to work your way up to certain modalities, right? You definitely want to listen to your esthetician and the person you're going to for these services, right? They've been trained to look for certain things. They've been trained with skin health. It's like, when do you rely on the advice of an expert, right? If you're coming to a salon and spa, you're going to listen to the hairstylist and their hair recommendations and product recommendations for healthy hair, right? The same thing with estheticians and your skin. You're going to see a professional and you're seeking the advice of that professional. There are some modalities out there that just aren't the best fit for people. Whether it be because they're on a certain medication or on a, topical treatment, or if it's, because they live with like an autoimmune disease or some sort of condition. I mean, we really have to be on top of those type of things so we don't destroy your skin. So just, as somebody going in and getting a service done for the first time, be open to your esthetician, tell them the truth. You don't have to give them your life story, but if you're on certain medications, there's a reason why we're asking. It's because certain ingredients could interfere with like what you're taking. Or just like as an example, if there's somebody that's using tretinoin or Accutane, which is a really strong form of vitamin A, and it's usually only prescribed through a dermatologist. If you're on that medication, we cannot wax you. We cannot give you an eyebrow wax or any sort of facial wax because we will literally tear the first layer of skin off.
Wow.
And that's painful. And that can scar, and that can cause more damage. And if you're going to a good esthetician, those questions will be on the consultation form, and your esthetician should ask those types of questions. But sometimes people are people. They forget that they're on these certain topical medications, or they're embarrassed, or whatever it be the case. But going to your esthetician, just be open and honest. It's no judgment. We want anybody who comes into our space to feel welcome and like they're in a safe space. They can talk to us. Totally safe space.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Is like, but you already answered it. Like, how do you find out that information of what kind of medication you're on? I know some places with certain type of those type of questions you can't ask them. You're not allowed to ask them because of HIPAA. That protects. And if you don't know what HIPAA is, for you guys listening, HIPAA is it's a federal law saying that certain agencies or certain companies can't give out personal information about medical conditions, psychiatric conditions, things like that. They can't give out any kind of medication diagnosis, reasons why you were there, things like that. So what I was going to ask you was, how do you figure that stuff out with but then you answered it. The SD bestie asks those during the consultation, which I find, I should have assumed that that type of thing was going on. So, okay. You answered my question before I even asked it. So.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, consultations are super important. I get asked a lot, like, why do you guys need to know if I'm diabetic, or why do you need to know if I'm pregnant, or whatever it be the case? And it's not because we're trying to pry. It's not because we're, wanting to make fun of you for living with certain conditions or whatever be the case. It's literally because we care about you as a person. We don't want to risk our licensure, our, way of living. We want to protect you. We want to protect us, and we want to protect your skin. Like, if you're pregnant, we have to avoid anything with lavender in it, which is really hard to do when, like, especially in my line of work, when you use plant botanicals and everything has lavender in it. So
that's kind of interesting, lavender.
Yes, lavender is so relaxing. It has beautiful healing properties to it. I specifically work with Aveda products and Epicutis, two beautiful brands. Aveda is specifically plant-powered botanicals. So yeah, it's just gorgeous. It smells amazing. It feels amazing. It's so gentle on the skin. Unless you are allergic to like something specific, botanical wise, you're not going to have a reaction to it.
That's really interesting. I never would have guessed anything like that with lavender. I mean, as you said, lavender is relaxing, it's calming. You know, it does a lot for you. I know it did a lot for your skin and stuff. I didn't know that it could affect you if you're pregnant and stuff like that. I didn't know it had that kind of effect. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Education.
Yeah. So along with that, what type of lotions or creams and stuff would you recommend to somebody who's looking to do a self skincare? I mean, if they I'm sure the prices are outrageous. Well, not outrageous, but I'm pretty sure they're a little steep for some people, especially with today's economy and stuff. Trying to get back to, you know, a steady economy. What would be some of the lotions and the creams and the treatments that you would recommend for somebody who's at home doing it themselves?
Yeah, that's another really great question. So to be fully transparent, I can only speak on Aveda product or Epicutis products just because those are the products that I work with and they're the ones that I know the best. But as far as, you know, if you go to Ulta or Target, Walmart, just because like these products are more like financially friendly, you definitely want to look for things that, in my opinion, you want vegan, you want cruelty free, you want to look for things that don't have toxic chemicals in it, right? Women specifically, in combination with their whatever skincare that they're using and their makeup and all of those things, women are averaging about 160 plus toxic ingredients that they're putting on their cells daily, and your body absorbs that, and it can cause a multitude of issues in just like your reproductive health, your heart health, your skin health, all of the things. So I think just definitely looking at the labels, and if you're not sure like what a specific ingredient is, thankfully we have, you know, tiny computers in our pockets these days. You can always Google that ingredient and see if it's known for cancer causing properties or if it's considered okay and healthy. But definitely looking for vegan, plant-powered, cruelty-free, silicone-free, paraben-free, all of those things.
So a lot of the times, if it smells good, it's not always good for you, right?
Exactly. Fragrance is huge. It's a huge issue. So in the front of our nose, we have our olfactory nerve. And every time that you smell like a synthetic fragrance, your olfactory nerve dies. Like, how crazy is that?
Wow.
Now,
I had no idea. I mean, yeah. I'm going to stop smelling things.
Right? Right? No, for sure. But I mean, thankfully the human body is amazing and it can heal yourself, or it can heal itself. It can heal the nerve. But yeah, I mean, that olfactory nerve dies, and that's why it's so important to look for fragrance-free or, plant-powered, anything botanical, like naturally botanical, not synthetic. Because again, trying to protect that olfactory nerve. And it's just crazy how much your senses will change when you've done like a synthetic detox. Like certain things that you smelled before that maybe didn't smell so good will suddenly be the most amazing thing you've ever smelled in your life.
That is interesting. That is good to know. Because like my youngest daughter, she's the one. She's only 8 years old, so she likes the way things smell, especially flowers and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think flowers are going to do anything to like harm her nose or anything like that, but like different chemicals like Vicks or something like that, the good smelling Vicks, and they're like, man, you shouldn't be smelling that. Just because it's purple flowers doesn't mean you should be smelling that. So
right.
That's good to know. I'm gonna start not letting her smell that. So from beginning to end, so I'm sure you have clients that come in weekly or bi-monthly through their skin. Obviously you believe in this stuff. Obviously you live by it every day. And what's one of the seeing the success from the skincare success that your clients have from beginning to end? It just goes to reassure you that much more that what you're doing is to help them be a better person is I'm guessing obviously rewarding. So have you ever, I don't know how, so I'm just gonna say this, have you ever looked at someone and like, this is gonna be one heck of a treatment right here?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
No, that's a fair question, right?
I didn't have any other nicer way to say it except for we're gonna have a treatment today. We're gonna earn our money right now. This is our money.
Johnny, you're so funny. Yeah, I mean, there are people out there that live with like cystic acne or have a lot of congestion in their skin. Congestion meaning that, gosh, you could have like overly enlarged pores that just kind of grab onto everything easily. So you see, like the common term that people use, you see pimples, you see whiteheads, blackheads, all those things. In my world, they're also called whiteheads and blackheads, but the scientific version is papules, pustules. And one of my favorite things to do is extractions. I love extracting pustules. I love getting in there. You give me a big old juicy pustule, man. That is satisfying.
Oh my gosh. So how do you extract that stuff from the skin? How do you extract it?
Yeah, so it depends. Is it open or is it closed? Meaning, if it's open, are you seeing the bacteria and the whitehead, right? If it's open like that, then essentially what we do is we deep cleanse the skin, make sure that we're getting dirt, makeup, environmental pollutants, bacteria off of the skin as much as possible. We're toning, we're putting all of these good ingredients back into the skin. And depending on whatever line you use for skincare, you can go in and do like a peel. I personally like using enzymes in the work that I do. We don't use anything medical grade. So one of my favorite things to use is the Aveda Perfecting Plant Peel, which is botanical powered, and it's like a 30% glycolic peel without any downtime or irritation. So you're not going to get super red. You're not going to notice any flaking or irritation. You're not going to have to miss work for a day or two. And essentially that just really preps the skin for any extractions. It helps loosen things up. It gets the skin to relax. Once that's through, then essentially we just take a little extraction tool and there's a couple ways you can do it. I like using the extraction tools. And essentially you just press down and everything comes out and you're clearing that pore from any bacteria, any dirt, debris, makeup. Another thing you can use, especially if you deal with acne as an adult or even as a teenager, you can take Q-tips and very gently press down and kind of up, right? You don't want to press together because then you're just spreading that bacteria and causing damage to the skin. You want to press down and up, and hopefully whatever is in there will come out. But if not, then, as hard as it is to do, just leave your skin alone. Your skin knows what it needs to do to protect itself. It will eventually get all of the things out with the help of exfoliating, with your, skincare routine, all of those things. So now if you have what's called a closed pore or closed comedone, we take a lancing tool and we poke a little hole just to give it a little bit of an opening, and we attempt to extract it that way. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but when it works, the pressure usually subsides for that person. They kind of get like a wave of relief knowing that everything's getting cleared out from the skin. So it's just one of my favorite things to do.
That's a process.
It's a process. And there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. So again, go to an esthetician, make sure you ask these questions, like what is your process for doing extractions?
So you're talking about continuing education, staying caught up on a lot of things. What's something that we can see? What's something that we can look forward to in your field in the future? Are there any like new techniques, any kind of like new procedures that should be coming out that you're aware of, or just what's in the future for skin therapy?
Yeah, that's a really great question. You're throwing all the good questions at me today, Donnie.
That's what I'm supposed to do.
I want to say that people are taking their health more seriously, specifically in America. I feel like people are waking up to the fact that, we've been using these toxic chemicals for so long in our daily lives. And we're now just starting to see all of the issues that they're causing, essentially. So I'm starting to see people shift more to plant-powered ingredients and finding alternatives to like these synthetic chemical ingredients that we've just come so accustomed to at this point. So there's definitely, I feel like, a huge shift going to plant-powered and more holistic modalities. The world of aesthetics has blown up quite a bit to the point where my field is, in my opinion, oversaturated. There's a lot of, estheticians coming straight out of school, opening up their own practices, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. If you have the education, you have the funds and the confidence to do that, by all means, do it. Make that money, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely say just going, in the future, holistic practices, different holistic modalities. People are looking for results with holistic modalities.
Okay.
Like people are moving away from Botox. People are moving away from fillers. And that's one thing that I love about where I work is the entire point is your skin health, your hair health. We're not trying to change the way you look necessarily, right? We're trying to take care of you as a whole. We change your look in the sense, like if you come into the salon and you dye your hair or you get a new haircut, right? Like, yeah, you're gonna see a difference in the way that you look, but we're not like drastically changing your cheekbones or, sticking filler in your forehead or your lips or anything like that. We care about you as a whole human. We think you're beautiful just the way you are. And if you want to enhance your natural beauty, that's what we do at my work, which I completely appreciate and I love.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a whole lot of future for the SD.
Oh yeah. Yep. There's definitely a lot of opportunity. People are waking up to the fact that, again, kind of what I was saying at the beginning of the podcast, is our skin is our largest organ, and we take that for granted, right? We don't take care of the skin on our feet. We don't take care of our hands. Some people live with acne on their back or their chest, and we just got to remember that our skin does so much for us, not only protecting us from like things going on externally, right? You have sun damage, you have pollutants in the air from like car exhaust and Lord knows what else. You have all these external factors that are constantly attacking our skin every day, but then you also have internal factors that are causing chaos too, that your skin deals with and your connective tissue deals with. And so it's just really important to take care of your skin.
So something that just popped in my head. I did this a couple months, about 2 years ago, and about 2.5 years ago I did this. So I went to the emergency department because I had an allergic reaction. I had hives all over my body. I had a rash going, and then the doctor's like, yeah, you were going into anaphylactic shock. What are you allergic to? And I was like, I don't know. I know certain peanuts make my throat itch. And so then they injected me with Benadryl, all that good stuff. And they're like, well, we're going to set you up an appointment. You need to go see the doctor who specializes in allergies and stuff. And so we went there and got tested for a bunch of different things. Come to find out, I'm allergic to fish, shellfish, certain peanuts, and different things like that. Before anybody starts any kind of treatment, would you recommend them going to find out what kind of stuff they're allergic to first? Because I know cedar or shaggy tree bark causes me to break out in hives and rash as well. I know that's probably something they don't normally use in their products, but just on the fact you don't know what you're allergic to, something might be inside the plant that they use to make that cream or that lotion or stuff. Would you recommend that being an option to find out what they're allergic to first before they started treatment? That way when you go in and you do your questionnaire or your consultation, they could be like, this is what I'm allergic to, these are the things I can't have on my skin. Let's say like you're allergic to coconut cream and you have coconut butter or something like that mixed in with one of your things. Would that be a good step to take? That way you go into the consultation knowing what you're allergic to and what you're not, and then you don't find out while you're on the table like, oh look, I'm allergic to it, I'm breaking out.
Yeah, no, I mean, you should absolutely do that. Not just if you're going to go see an esthetician, but just for your general health and wellness, right?
Yeah.
There are people out there that are severely allergic to certain plants or citrus, right? Like if you have a citrus allergy, we can't put vitamin C on you, but there's also different types of reactions to certain ingredients, right? Like I've had clients come in telling me that they're deathly allergic to citrus and orange if they eat it, but they don't have a reaction when it's on topically. So, I mean, you kind of have to play it by ear and obviously, play it safe. Like for me personally, if you tell me that you have a citrus allergy only when you consume vitamin C, but topically you're fine, I'm still gonna avoid putting vitamin C on you because that's a lawsuit waiting to happen, and I love my job and my license too much to potentially use it.
Play it smart.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I would definitely recommend getting some sort of allergy screening done. Not, because even if you come in, you're not sure what you're allergic to. I mean, your esthetician should be able to handle it. We're not doctors, right? So we can't prescribe things. We can't diagnose things. We can only like just notice like, oh, hey, you seem to be having some sort of histamine reaction. We need to stop the service and we need to call an ambulance for you to make sure you're okay. Right? So like your esthetician should be able to handle the crisis. Hopefully there's not one. But you know, our whole thing is we want you to be safe. We want your skin health to be safe. We want to be safe. So that, again, that's why it's so important that you go through a consultation.
But knowing what you're allergic to beforehand would be a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, if you're allergic to vitamin C or almond or lavender or whatever, then I, as an esthetician, I know what to look for in my products, and I know what products to avoid and get you the results that you're looking for using different products and different modalities.
Okay, sounds good. Good advice. Good advice.
Great question.
So we're coming up on our time limit here, but before we go, I know I forgot to tell you this in the beginning, but we like to give like an inspirational quote or inspirational thought, something that you not necessarily live by or that you've done, but something that you would give some type of with you, you're licensed, so you're professional. Some type of advice or some type of inspirational thought that would help our listeners move forward in the direction of positivity.
Ooh, what advice to move in the direction of positivity?
Or even something that you like a quote or something that you live off of, that you've lived by.
Donnie, man, giving me all the questions. I love it. Let me think for a second. Okay, I got one. So this is a quote that I now live by, and I didn't fully understand it until I just started doing the aesthetics thing, just because I feel like the education and the opportunity for growth and learning is endless in my field. And I'm sure many people can relate to that in whatever field that they're in. But the founder of Aveda, his name is Horst. And a famous saying that he would quite often use in different interviews is, never be the teacher, always be the student. And that has really resonated with me because I never want to come off like I know everything, right? It's impossible to know everything. Even if you've been working in your field for 50 plus years, I'm sure you picked up on some things. I'm sure you know a lot of things about the field that you're in, but you're never going to know everything. So just being able to take a step back and be humble and being able to look at situations and things from a different perspective and trying to get something out of that, I think that's phenomenal. And that shows amazing growth and your willingness to grow as a person and make connections with people.
Yeah, I had a football coach I used to coach with. His name's Christopher Starkey, and he taught me one of the most important things that I do now. He says, never be afraid of being a student of the game. Always learn. Always seek that. Always seek. How did he say this? Always be a student of the game. Never stop learning. Always be something about being one step ahead of yourself. Always continue to improve on yourself by being one step ahead of what you're looking into. I think that kind of goes along with what you just said. I mean, that's very similar in certain cases. Being a student of the game, because you're never going to know everything. You know, there's always that room for improvement. There's always that room for that continuing education that you mentioned earlier. So yeah, I like that. That goes really well.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite quotes. It's something that I live by every day now. And, you know, there are times where I have to take a step back and just like really reflect and, you know, just be like, okay, Amanda, like, do you really know this subject? Let's take a minute. Let's think this through. You know, what can I take out of this situation? Whether it's like an education thing or even like a personal development thing, learning about yourself, like reflecting on yourself, what you do and don't like, you know, your tastes change over time, and just really being able to reflect and learn.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one. I like that one. With that, we've come up on our time for today. So with Amanda here today, joining me in studio today, it's been fun. It's been a blast. I learned a lot today. I really did. I learned a lot.
Good.
I learned some new words that I'm not able to pronounce, but I'll get a hang of it.
Practice makes perfect, my friend.
Absolutely. We'll get back to you guys real soon, and you know, hopefully we'll meet up with Amanda here again in the future, just to catch up with her again, hopefully, if she's available.
I'd love that, for sure.
It was fun. So remember, all you listeners out there, stay safe wherever you are, wherever you go, whatever you do, and don't overthink it. We'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.